We shouldn't be out here alone.
Why not?
If your father, he'll never know we're gone. But if he finds out...
Two girls sneak through the woods at night. One of them is terrified. The other is Cersei Lannister. And even as a child, arrogant, fearless, already wearing entitlement like a crown she hasn't earned yet, Cersei walks into that fortune-teller's tent like she owns it, because in her mind, she does. Everything around Casterly Rock belongs to her father, and everything that belongs to her father belongs to her. She kicks the old woman's bed. She demands answers. She has no idea that the words she's about to hear will poison the rest of her life. This is the prophecy of Maggy the Frog, and it's not just a prediction, it's a curse, a slow-acting venom that seeps into Cersei's blood and shapes every decision she makes, every alliance she breaks, every person she destroys, from this night forward until the walls of the Red Keep come crashing down on her head. So, let's break down what Maggy actually tells her, because every word matters. You see, young Cersei asks 3 questions. The first,
I've been promised to the prince. When will we marry?
She's talking about Rhaegar Targaryen, the silver-haired heir to the Iron Throne, the match her father has been pushing for, and Maggy's answer is blunt.
You'll never wed the prince. You'll wed the king.
Now, to a child who's been told she'll be queen, this sounds like good news. But Maggy isn't talking about Rhaegar becoming king. She's talking about a different man entirely, Robert Baratheon, a man who hasn't even started his rebellion yet. Cersei will get her crown, but not the husband she wanted, not the fairy tale, just power and a drunk who will never love her. The second question,
But I will be queen.
Oh yes, you'll be queen.
and Maggy confirms it, yes, she will be queen. But then comes the knife. She'll be queen until someone younger and more beautiful comes along to cast her down and take everything she holds dear. That line alone rewires Cersei's entire psychology. From this moment on, every beautiful young woman who enters her orbit becomes a potential threat. Sansa Stark, Margaery Tyrell, Daenerys Targaryen. Cersei spends decades trying to identify which one is the younger queen from the prophecy, and in doing so, she wages war against all of them. She destroys Margaery, she torments Sansa, she refuses to surrender to Daenerys, and the show never tells us which one is the younger and more beautiful queen. That ambiguity is the point. The prophecy doesn't need a specific answer to do its damage. It just needs Cersei to keep guessing. And she does, for decades, suspecting everyone, trusting no one, turning every woman in her orbit into a potential assassin of her happiness. And the irony is devastating. Her attempts to prevent the prophecy are the very things that make it come true. And yet, that's the hidden engine of Cersei's entire arc. It's a self-fulfilling cycle. Her intense belief in Maggy's words is what gives those words their power. If Cersei had walked out of that tent and forgotten about it, none of it might have happened. But she couldn't forget, she couldn't let go. She carried those words like a sickness, and every choice she made was infected by them. She treated Tyrion as a monster from the day he was born, not because of who he was, but because of who she feared he might become. She attacked Margaery not because Margaery threatened her in any real way, but because the prophecy told her a younger queen would come. And by attacking Margaery, she armed the faith militant, which led to her own imprisonment, her walk of shame, and ultimately the chain of events that killed all 3 of her children. Cersei didn't just fail to prevent the prophecy, she built it, brick by brick, with her own paranoia as the mortar. Now, the third question, and this is where the gold becomes a shroud. Cersei asks if she and the king will have children.
Will the king and I have children?
Maggy tells her the king will have 16 children, 20 in the show, and she will have 3. And then the old woman delivers the line that haunts Cersei for the rest of her life.
Gold will be their crown. Gold. Their shrouds.
I mean, think about the layers buried in that single sentence. Gold crowns. On the surface, that sounds like royalty. Joffrey becomes king. Tommen becomes king. Myrcella is a princess, betrothed to the Prince of Dawn. But there's a deeper meaning hiding underneath. Gold is also the color of their hair. Their Lannister hair. The hair that proves they're not Robert's children at all. They're Jaime's. And that golden parentage, that beautiful, damning Lannister gold, is precisely what puts them in danger. It's what Ned Stark discovers. It's what starts the war. It's what turns Cersei from a queen into a target. The gold that makes them royal is the same gold that buries them. The crowns become shrouds. The beauty becomes the trap. And the show makes us watch it happen, one by one. Joffrey chokes to death at his own wedding, purple-faced, clawing at his throat, and Cersei is right there, screaming, helpless. Myrcella is poisoned by the sand snakes, dying in Jaime's arms on a boat far from King's Landing, the golden truth of her parentage on her lips as the life leaves her, and Cersei isn't even there to hold her. Tommen steps out of a window after watching his wife die in wildfire that his own mother ignited, a quiet, almost gentle death for a boy who was too soft for the world his family built. And Cersei only sees his body after it's over. 3 children, 3 golden heads, 3 deaths she either witnesses, learns about too late, or causes herself. Drowning in the tears Maggy promised her, and she lives through all of it, just as Maggy said she would. Well, there's a part of the prophecy the show deliberately leaves out, and it's the most terrifying part of all, the Valonqar. In the books, Maggy tells Cersei one final thing, that after her tears have drowned her, the Valonqar will wrap his hands around her pale white throat and choke the life from her. Valonqar is High Valyrian for little brother, and Cersei, hearing this, immediately decides it means Tyrion, her younger brother, the dwarf she's hated since the day he was born, the son who killed their mother in childbirth. In Cersei's mind, the prophecy confirms everything she's always believed, that Tyrion is a curse, a monster, the instrument of her destruction. She spends her entire life trying to have him killed or removed, and that hatred colors every interaction they ever have. But here's the detail Cersei completely misses, and it's one of the most overlooked twists in the entire story. Jaime is also her younger brother. He's her twin, yes, but he was born second, moments after her, holding her heel. Technically, Jaime is the Valonqar too, and Cersei never once considers this possibility. She's so fixated on Tyrion as the threat that she's blind to the person literally sleeping beside her. The Valonqar could have been Jaime all along. And in the books, that theory remains very much alive. Look, the show made a deliberate choice to cut the Valonqar entirely. It's never mentioned on screen, and that decision changes how Cersei's story ends. In the show, Cersei doesn't die by strangulation. She dies in the collapsing rubble of the Red Keep, with Jaime holding her. Some fans see this as the Valonqar fulfilled in a different way, Jaime's arms wrapped around her as the stones fall. Others see it as the show simply choosing a different path. Either way, the absence of the Valonqar from the show is significant because it removes the specific fear that drove so much of Cersei's hatred toward Tyrion. Without it, her cruelty toward her younger brother seems purely personal rather than prophetically motivated. And that's a loss, because the book version of Cersei is a woman haunted by a fate she can see coming but can't escape. And in trying to escape it, she accelerates it. The thing is, there's another detail from the books that the show skips entirely, and it's genuinely chilling. Young Cersei didn't visit Maggy alone. She brought 2 friends, Jane Farman, who fled the tent in terror, and Melara Hetherspoon, who stayed. After Cersei received her prophecy, Melara asked Maggy a question of her own. Would she marry Jaime? And Maggy's answer was cold. Not Jaime, nor any other man. Worms will have your maidenhead. Your death is here tonight. Melara died that very night, drowning in a well. And while the books never say it outright, the implication is clear. Cersei pushed her, her own friend, a child, because Melara had heard the prophecy, and Cersei couldn't risk anyone knowing. That's who Cersei was at 10 years old, already willing to kill to protect her future, already shaped by Maggy's words into something ruthless and cold and terrified. Right? And then there's one more paradox the show introduces that the prophecy can't quite account for. In the final stretch of the show, Cersei is pregnant again, a fourth child, and Maggy specifically said 3. So either the prophecy is wrong, which would undermine everything, or that child was never going to be born. Many fans predicted Cersei would miscarry or die before giving birth, and the show ultimately confirms the second option. She dies in the rubble, pregnant, with Jaime beside her. The prophecy holds. 3 children, gold their crowns, and gold their shrouds. Not 4. Never 4. You know, what really makes Maggy's prophecy so powerful isn't the predictions themselves. It's the blood. Maggy demands a taste of it, pricks Cersei's finger and sucks the drop from her skin before speaking a single word. This is blood magic, the darkest kind, and the old woman herself, foul-breathed, warty, reeking of something rotten, delivers the prophecy not as a gift, but as a weapon. Maggy hates this arrogant child who kicked her awake, and every word she speaks is designed to wound, to haunt, to destroy from the inside out. This isn't a kind fortune teller delivering neutral information. This is a curse, and it works perfectly. Actually, step back and consider Cersei's entire arc through the lens of this one scene. Every terrible thing she does, arming the Faith militant, torturing the Tyrells, blowing up the Sept of Baelor, refusing to surrender King's Landing, can be traced back to this tent in the woods. Cersei isn't just cruel. She's afraid. She's been afraid since she was a child, afraid of a future she was told was inevitable, afraid of the younger queen and the golden shrouds and the little brother coming to choke the life out of her. And fear, in a person with that much power, is the most dangerous thing in the world. Again, it's more dangerous than any army, more dangerous than wildfire, more dangerous than dragons. Basically, the prophecy of Maggy the Frog doesn't just predict Cersei's future, it creates it. It turns a proud, ambitious girl into a paranoid, self-destructive queen who burns everything around her, trying to escape a fate that was only ever real because she believed in it. Cersei Lannister was never destroyed by her enemies. She was destroyed by 6 sentences whispered by an old woman in a tent, decades before the first sword was drawn. And Maggy? She died years later, hunted down in the woods somewhere near Horn Hill. But her words outlived her. They outlived everyone.